Go ahead and get started. This morning we're going to cover batting. I got to watch my step. I can't go too far out.
You can if you want. You'll just won't.
We're going to cover dead ball with John Calamari, and then Dave Paps is going to finish the lineup presentation. So, Rule 7, batting with yours truly. Before she becomes a batter, she becomes an on-deck batter. When she is the on-deck batter, she must use her on-deck circle. The rule states while the pitcher is taking warm-up pitches, she has to be in her on-deck circle. This includes if they switch the pitcher in the middle of the inning, you got to tell her go back to the first base side if she's on the third base side. The reason is it's a safety issue. She's swinging the bat, the defensive coach walks out to talk to the shortstop, and he's not paying attention to her, and she takes one swing and cracks him in the worst, the back, maybe even the head. So they want her on her side of the dugout, her side of the ball diamond when she's swinging the bat during warm-ups. She can only have USSSA approved merchandise equipment in the circle. That includes bats, that includes weighted bats, and that includes bat weight attachments. They all have to be approved by USSSA. We don't ask them if they're approved. Again, at the beginning of the pregame conference, you ask the coach if the equipment meets USSSA standards. They say yes, they're certifying that these things that they have in the circle do meet the USSSA standards. They can use up to 2 bats maximum in the on-deck circle. Boy, this is killing me, Rick. I got it. No fans or donuts are allowed. Rick showed you this when he went over equipment a couple weeks ago. The on-deck batter infractions. If she touches the ball, it becomes a blocked ball. A blocked ball, by definition, is a ball that touches a player or equipment that's not in the game. The on-deck batter is not yet in the game. She's not stepped within the lines that define the field of play. It's an immediate dead ball. A blocked ball is an immediate dead ball. So if she touches it, it becomes an immediate dead ball. She can't interfere with a play. Note the operative word, a play. Doesn't say she can't interfere with the ball. It says she can't interfere with the play. If she does, and there's a runner on, if she does, and a play's being made on a runner, the runner closest to home is out. If there's no play being made on the runner, if all the runners are standing on bases, you got nothing but a dead ball. You have to have a play being made on a runner, and if a play is being made on a runner, then the runner closest to home is out. If they're fielding a fly ball, the batter's out. She doesn't move for the catcher to catch a pop-up foul ball. The batter is declared out. If it's a throwing ball and there's an obvious play, the runner closest to home is out. Again, the operative word is play. They have to be making a play for the on-deck batter to interfere. Otherwise, if she touches the ball, it is just a dead ball. All runners return because you have a dead ball, so they can't advance unless they're awarded bases. So they return to the base they touched before the interference, before the ball became dead. Batter in the box before the pitch. No part of the foot may be outside the lines prior to the pitch. This is the only time that they must be completely within the area. Any other time they can have their foot partially on the line and be considered within the area. But to start before the pitch, she must be completely in the box. I don't know why. I don't know if any of you guys know why it's that way.
Well, like in the slow pitch world, some would like to start back to get the running. Right. So that would be, I guess, one reason you will be confined within a space.
But just standing with your toe outside the line to start the bat. I mean, I don't know why that is, but this.
I view it like the end zone.
What?
I view it like an end zone, like you break the line and
you break the plane.
So like kind of like the batter's box, and it's like you break it and then you're no longer in it.
Okay.
Kind of.
All right.
It's the only weird spot that it's.
I see it when they're like hovering over the plate. They're like, okay, you just need to back up.
Yeah, but it's where your foot is. Where your foot
That's
is.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they're getting right up on.
Okay, so if they're on the line, they can get more over the plate. Okay. All right, so here are a couple different footprints. These 2 are legal. They're completely within the box. These 4 are illegal because they're partly out of the box. Now, This is going to be legal if she makes contact after the pitch is thrown. But for starting before the pitch, that's not legal. Don't let them play until both feet are completely inside the batter's box. Don't let them throw the pitch until both feet are completely in the batter's box. An illegally batted ball. Well, first let's talk about what a legally batted ball is. It's a ball where she makes contact. Both feet are in the box. The foot can be on the line when she makes contact. Anytime you are touching the line, you are considered within that area. So when you are touching the line, you are considered within that area. And the foot can be partially out when she makes contact, as long as some portion of her foot is touching the line. Again, before the pitch, everything's got to be in the box. After the pitch, she makes contact. At least some portion of her foot is on the line. She's considered within the box. So, an illegal, I'm sorry? Yeah.
The foot can be in the air.
Foot can be in the air. Thank you, John. Yes. Outside of the box as long as she's not touching the ground. Yes. Thank you, John. Yep. Good point. An illegally batted ball, what I'm finding is you got to point this thing directly at that screen for it to work. She cannot get a running start, as Rick was discussing, and we'll show you what that means in just a little bit. Boy, if you don't point this thing directly at there. One foot cannot be entirely out of the box. She has to have both feet in the box, all right?
So it's over there where you're pointing.
Right, it's at the screen, yep. She can't be stepping on the plate even if her foot is partially on the line. And it doesn't matter whether it's a fair or foul ball. It's an illegally batted ball. It's not an illegally batted fair ball. If she makes contact with her foot completely outside of the box, it doesn't matter. Dave.
Clarify what you mean by getting a running start.
I'm going to show you in just a sec.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have a question too.
Yeah.
If they, let's say it's a right-handed batter and they hit the ball and then, kind of follow through and step on the plate with their back foot.
As long as it's after they made contact,
Yeah.
you have nothing on an illegal batted ball. Now the question you're going to ask is, depending on where the ball is, does she interfere with the catcher and stop her from being able to get to field the ball?
Okay.
All right?
Well, she does, okay.
But the contact, she's already made the contact, so if she steps on the plate, it's not a problem. But if she steps on the plate and it's a bunt and the catcher now has to stop because she can't get to the ball, then you got a different situation. And we'll talk about that in just a sec. All right, so dead ball and the batter is out. It's a form of interference. Dead ball and the batter is out. Here are some footprints. This footprint doesn't go with that one. These are two separate situations. Running start, this is what we're talking about, Dave. She steps back out of the box, and then she comes running into the box to hit the ball. It's a slap, but it's a slap that starts outside of the box as opposed to in the box.
Well, that's why I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Because when they're doing a flat bunting, they're running forward.
Right, but they're in the box. Yes, good point, Dave. Very good point. Yes, but here, that's what we mean when we say running start. She's outside of the box, outside the back of the box, and she comes running towards the plate, and we don't want that to happen. So, all of these are legal. She's touching the line, touching the line, touching the line. All of those are legal. Now, as I've said a couple weeks ago, when maybe Dave was going over the field, you go home and watch some college ball. I think college ball starts this weekend. I think there's a tournament in Florida. You watch college ball, and if you have this, they're going to call a delayed dead ball. And then the umpire is going to give the coach the choice of the play or a strike. The rule's different in college. They changed that. 3 years ago, they changed it that you had to be completely in the box to make contact, and the slappers were getting called out too frequently, so the coaches complained, so then they made it a delayed dead ball. So if you're watching college ball this weekend and you see she's partially in the box, but they call a delayed dead ball, that's because the rule's different in college. For us, this is completely legal. This is legal, this is legal. This is legal. These are illegal. Even though she's on the line, her foot's on the plate. Block is not part of the plate. You read the definition, what does it say? A whitened slab. Black is not part of the plate. A whitened slab is how they define the plate. And of course, this is the running start that we were discussing earlier. Remember, no contact, no violation. If she gets out there and she swings and she spins herself around into the other batter's box, if she didn't make contact with the ball with the bat, you got nothing. During the hit, what do you got? For us, not college, for us. Yeah, very much legal. And Mr. Calamari's point, what do you got? Legal. She's got to have the foot down to be considered in the area. She's got to have the foot down to be considered in the area. Is she or ain't she? I got her in the box.
Yeah, I think the key with is she in or is she out is don't get obsessed with it, because you can easily find yourself being back there and forgetting to pay attention to the strike zone, and it's really easy to get distracted. Let the contact happen. If you feel like she may or may not be out, quickly glance down to see, and maybe she is. But if you're not sure, then you're not calling, because then if the coach says something, you say she's really close, coach.
And also remember, these views are from the side.
Right.
You're not at the side.
Right. It's the hardest call to make. It's the hardest call to make, because you got to watch your feet. Then if she doesn't make contact, then you got to know whether it's a ball or strike. It's the hardest call to make.
And the ball strike is the most important part of it. So you'll get when the girl comes up and she's doing the left-handed slap thing, you know that's going to happen. That's going to be part of the equation.
And part of what's going to happen here is you're going to get close to this, where they do the lines every other game. And so the second game, after they've done the lines, you're not going to have a lot of box. So you're going to have to absolutely be sure. Because remember, once you call a dead ball, there's nothing you can do. You cannot go back and fix it. There's no such thing as a redo. Once you call dead ball, you've got her out. All right, so remember, you got to call the positive. If you're not sure it's a strike, you call it a ball. If you're not sure it's an out, you call her safe. If you're not sure it's a foul, you call it fair. You want to call the positive, because once you call dead ball, you ain't going back. You ain't going back.
Is she on the plate?
I don't know. I don't know.
Airplane.
That's what I said,
Yeah,
that's the side, so
yep.
it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
That close to the plate, she's gonna be out, that box.
You have a different angle looking from behind. I think she's out, but I think. I'm not certain. I would not pronounce a dead ball in this situation unless I was absolutely certain she was out of the box. Because once you kill it, you can't make it live again. Once you kill it, you can't make it live again. All right, batter who wants to change boxes. You'll see this. They'll start with the left-hander trying to get her to slap, and maybe she gets 2 strikes on her, and then they say switch around. That's the most frequent time that you see it. She can do it before the pitch. Pitcher's standing behind the pitcher's plate. She can flip the boxes without any problem. I'm finding you got to click it twice. When the pitcher's on the plate and she's ready to pitch, she has to get time. She has to request it, and you have to give it to her. Simply because she does this does not get her time. You have to call time. If the pitcher's on the plate with her hands together, I'm not giving her time. She's ready to go. She's ready to pitch. At that point, if she gets time, she can switch. If I don't give her time and she flips over, it's a dead ball and she's out. All right? Once she calls for time, it doesn't happen until you call for time. And if that pitcher's on the plate with her hands together, she's ready to pitch. No time. If her hands are apart on the plate, I might give her time depending on the circumstances. But once she brings those hands together, she's telling me I'm ready to go.
Would you ever say no to their request verbally?
Yep.
That's a good point. And I would just say no, because if they say time, you just say no. And
Do you do that more often than not, or are you probably? I know it doesn't happen too often.
So it's so rare. I don't remember last time I did it, Amanda.
well, I don't know. I often have, you know how it is. The way to take control of the game, Susie, and it's not hers to take control of. So if the pitcher's ready to pitch, and you're waiting, and all of a sudden she just says the word time, I'll just say no, and we'll see what happens after that. You know.
But for me, it's been so rare. I don't remember last time I did it. Because usually they don't ask for time. Although I do remember one game. This was probably 12 years ago. The girl just turned and stared at me. I didn't know what she wanted. She wasn't asking for time. She just and the girl pitched and she threw strike 3 and I punched the girl out. I don't know what she was doing. Maybe I was that good looking. She couldn't take her eyes off me. I don't know.
You mesmerized.
I mesmerized her. All right. What is the strike? Pitch ball enters the strike zone. That's the strike zone for us. Front armpit, top of the knees. Again, you watch college this weekend. It's the sternum, the bottom of the sternum in NCAA rules. All right. Pitch ball is prevented from entering the strike zone by the batter. Who was it? Was it Josh? You were talking about her toes being way out there and her. She leans over and that ball hits her and her hand and the ball was in the strike zone. You got a dead ball and you have a strike. Yes.
Real quick, I think you mentioned it before. The batter, it's the first time they come in, ready for the ready to bat,
Uh-huh.
and the pitcher's pitching, the batter squats, gets as low as they can.
Right.
Is that the strike zone we're using? If they do that every time, or if they next time they come in, they're standing up?
If she comes in and she sits like this, I'm going to get set to the top of her. My eyes are going to be to the top of her armpit, to the top of the strike zone. Then if she squats, I've got my eyes set to where she said her stance was. So
Next pitch, she stands up on that.
it,
That's squatting.
if she comes and she does this, when I get set, I'm going to get set here with my eyes. Then if she does this, my eyes are still up here because that's where she said originally, and she told me she wanted to bat like that. So I'm not going to adjust. I'm not going to squat lower once she starts. Am I explaining this well enough?
No,
I mean, you give it a try.
No, you're good. I think if she's like this.
I'm going to squat right here at the top of the strike zone are my eyes.
Now, if she then goes like an inch, she's just getting a little more ready. That's not what we're talking about.
I'm
we're
still-
talking about the girl that does
Right.
this. If she wants that,
Squat down.
she's got to come in.
But you see where my eyes were set from when she originally set? So now this is what I have as the top of the strike zone.
So if she does that, we'll say if she goes from 2 different heights,
I'm
but
here
pitch
and-
to pitch, if she commits to the act. Pitch
I
to
would
pitch,
think
do you
that
give
if
to
she's
Brandon?
going to go from this to an exaggerated this, I'm going to stick up here where Joe's at. Now, if she wants to
Even
come
if
in
she
like this,
acts-
and before she's actually pitching, she
Yeah.
wants to come down here.
Right.
Then we.
Then we're going to set. I'm going to set my zone there.
Yeah.
Are we answering your question?
Well, yeah, and so during her time at bat,
Right.
when she sets up, standing up,
Right.
you set your eyes, and then she decides to go down, you leave your eyes
Yeah.
where.
Right, right.
Yes, keep that. Yeah.
Keep that, but she can do that as many times she wants, her time at bat.
Right.
She
The
can-
book states that the strike zone is in a standing position, okay? So if she goes down, it's in her strike zone is still as if she's in a standing
Are
position.
you not standing still?
What?
Yeah.
Are you still not
You're
standing?
squatting.
Well, you're standing, a normal standing position. In other words, it's not an exaggerated.
They can't shrink their strike zone.
Right.
You can't
Not during the pitch.
Right.
See, they can walk in.
Well, he's saying the strike zone is
Yeah.
shoulders to top of the knees at a standing position.
Forward armpit.
Whatever. Forward
Right.
armpit to the top of the knees
In
at a standing position.
Right.
So whatever you look like there, that's your strike zone. And then when you step in, you can do whatever you want, but your
Yeah.
strike zone is still that.
Well, I'm not in the box at this second. If that's
Doesn't
what-
matter.
Well, yeah, it does because I'm not in the box. If I'm not in the box, I can
You're not in the game.
I can be laying on the ground.
Well, your strike zone is from the top of your shoulders.
No,
or what-
front arm part.
or front armpit to the top of the knee.
Right.
Yeah.
That's your strike zone. If you squat, your strike zone is still what it was when you're standing.
Right, because let's be real about it. We know why this doesn't happen that much with the 18s and 16s, whatever. But the 10-year-olds that are already small and now they're told to get down like this, well,
Yeah.
they're exaggerating. They're
Right.
trying to get a ball call when
Right.
in reality their zone's here,
Right.
not another foot down.
Correct.
There's the zone, right?
Well, what I see, not a lot, but what I see is the pitch is released and then the batter is going from a standing position and moved down as the ball's in the air.
But if if the pitch is released, you've set here. So I don't care if she gets and lays on her stomach. I've got the top of the strike zone.
That's her fault, that's just.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
We'll duck down if they
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
none of those.
Yep. Dave?
Here it says umpire shall
Wait, Jim.
determine strike zone according to-
Hold on, Jim. Wait. Let Dave finish, and then we'll come to you, buddy. Go ahead.
What John said, basically, well, that's your strike zone. This is what it would be a normal stance.
Right.
Then if you want to be Ricky Henderson or Eddie Goodell, some of you won't know who that is. You know, you can't go down like this and change your strike zone.
Right.
Your strike zones from year to year.
Go ahead, Jim. Now.
That's basically what it says. The umpire shall determine the batter's strike zone according to the batter's usual stance.
Right.
Stance.
So that would be.
Stance.
Dave just said.
I mean,
Not
maybe it
quite.
was bad information, but I had an umpire, he once told me, if you can, try to glance at them when they're warm in the batter's box. If they're standing up swinging like this, then you set it normal, right? But if they actually, when they're trying to practice swinging, if they're down low, then you give them that down low. But it's gonna be like, they're gonna step in.
Yeah.
They're
I
not
think-
gonna
I
step
think you
in
let them
high.
As long as they commit to.
They can do whatever they want to
Right.
until they come into
They're
the
like
box, and
Jeff
then
Bagwell
now you
or-
make the decision.
Yeah, you give them their stamp.
If-
I've seen them where they'll shrink.
If it's part of the offensive strategy, if it's part of their strategy for her to walk in and automatically do this, that's her.
That's hers.
That is,
Right.
that's her. If that's part of their strategy,
Slightly
that's the way it is.
Long as she doesn't squat. Once she steps in and sets, then you've got your strike zone set.
Because if they swing, they have to hit the ball
Right.
like that.
I don't know how they're going to hit the ball squatted
And
like
that's
that.
their own
Yeah.
Most of them
disadvantage.
aren't squatting like they're trying to hit the ball either. They're
Right.
squatting and trying to
Which is
for-
why,
looking for
so
the ball.
I guess we moved a little bit. I kept touching the thing. All right, so she sticks her elbow out there and she prevents it from entering the strike zone. It's still a strike. It's a dead ball strike. It's a dead ball strike. Foul tip. Foul tip is the ball goes directly from the bat to her hand or her glove and is legally caught. So it goes from the bat, hits the glove, tip, hits her chest protector, and she catches it. It's still foul tip because it was legally caught.
No, if it's not a foul tip, it's got to go from bat.
I said it tips her glove, hits
I
her.
didn't know on that last one, it went bat.
No, I said it tips her glove, hits the chest protector, and then she catches it. That's still a legal catch, a legally caught ball. Yep. I thought I was loud enough. I thought this coal miner Polish voice from Pennsylvania was loud enough. I guess it's not. Okay. Penalty strike for batter delay. I've called that twice in 15 years. Called it in a playoff game last spring. Counted to 15, told the girl get in the box 3 times. I said, dead ball. I have a timing violation. The batter is charged with the strike.
The only time you'll probably ever see that is if a team is trying to delay the end of the inning.
Right.
And you're absolutely correct. You should call a penalty strike to keep that going.
I usually count, I give them to 11. Rick doesn't count all the time. I count every pitch. I usually give them to 11 or 12.
It's 10, right?
It's 10. But if they're not fooling around, they're not dawdling around, I give them to 12. This girl I gave to 15. I told her 3 times get in the box. At which point I called the dead ball. I got a timing violation strike. The batter is charged with the strike. Batter's hit by a pitch while swinging. We got a dead ball strike. My favorite story is about 10 years ago. I was doing a game in Olney when Olney was still doing the tournaments. Field I was at had a little knoll. I was down in the field and the knoll was up there and the girl swung, hit the ball through the shortstop, reached first base safe. I called the dead ball, called her out on strike 3. Daddy's on the top of the hill screaming, hands are part of the bat, the hands are part of the bat. Coach comes down, I explain the rule to him. We continue with the inning, we finish it. It's about 100 degrees, I go get a drink of water to backstop. Here comes Dad off of the hill. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to have to deal with this. He comes up real close to the backstop. And he whispers to me, I looked it up, you were right. Yeah, when you thought I was wrong, you were screaming at the top of the hill so everybody knew it. When I'm right, you come whisper in my ear next to the backstop.
So hands are not part of that.
Hands are not, and it's in the rule book, Josh. It's explicit in the rule book.
I understand.
Yeah, it's explicit in the rule book. Don't call a swinging strike. Don't enunciate a swinging strike. I was always taught if she swung and missed the ball, don't embarrass her again by enunciating it. She's already embarrassed herself by swinging and missing. Don't enunciate it and embarrass her. I love this slide, Dave. This is your slide, right? Yeah. What's the strike zone? Top of the armpit, or armpit to the top of the knees. Any ball that goes through any portion of that zone is a strike. If it moves up, if she moves up to the front of the batter's box, you don't move the zone. You leave the zone over the plate. You could have a ball where she's standing and a strike where it crosses the plate. And all mommy's going to see from behind the backstop is you call the strike when the ball was above her armpit. But in fact, where the plate was, same thing going back. Don't change it. Stay where it is. What's a ball? Anything that's not in the strike zone. An illegal pitch, potentially. As John Dye discussed last week, there are times when the illegal pitch will be called off. There are times when the coach will get the choice. But the penalty for an illegal pitch is a ball, depending on the circumstances. Pitcher doesn't deliver in 20 seconds. I've called that 3 times in 15 years. Good morning. I've called that 3 times in 15 years. Warm-up pitches. She's allowed 5. If she takes more than 5, you can award a ball for every pitch she takes beyond 5. Now, a lot of times, what the rule states is at the end of the inning, the defense can have 1 minute, both teams have 1 minute or 5 pitches to start.
It's got to be within 1 minute.
Right.
The 1 minute is the rule.
Right.
Okay.
Usually,
So a lot of teams go out there and she's the dead one. That's counting into her 1
Right.
minute. So she may only get two pitches.
right. Exactly, John. Usually we go with 3. We figure it takes them half a minute to get out there, and 3 pitches probably about half a minute. But she can get up to 5 if they hustle out there and do it. She can get up to 5. Sometimes you can go beyond there. There are exceptions. If the pitcher's injured and a new pitcher is coming to pitch, and she hasn't gotten any warm-up, she's just stepping right on the pitching plate. She's the shortstop now. You can let her have more than 5 pitches. You don't want a girl to get injured because she's not warming up and she's not stretched enough, all right? Cold weather. Not cold as today, but in March it'll be cold when the games start. If a pitcher comes out and you feel like you could give her more warm-up pitches, you're allowed to give her more warm-up pitches. There's one that, yes, sir.
And on that same note, can you have them, if the pitcher wants the ball in their hand, if it's cold,
Uh-huh.
and wipe it, is that okay?
She blows on her hands and then wipes it. That's fine, yes. In fact, the previous rules interpreter for the state used to say in cold weather, he's not even going to call that if they don't wipe her hands.
Yeah, I don't see that. Once again, I'm not necessarily putting liquid when I do that, even though it may be slightly moist. So I wouldn't feel like she would have to wipe her hand off in that particular.
When she blows.
scenario.
If she licks, you got a different story. If she licks, you got a different story. All right. There is one more exception that if you are taking lineup changes, they can throw as many pitches as they want, but don't even go there. They don't know the rule. Don't even go there with that rule.
But I'm going to warn you about something. If you're taking lineup changes, you're not doing it at the plate. If she, we have had umpires get hit by standing there because you're facing the coach, right? So you're liable to get hit. So please don't do that. Do that away.
Right.
Or else stop her position.
Use your good judgment in giving them extra warm-up pitches. Again, cold weather, girl comes out from shortstop because of an injury to the pitcher. Decide how many you want to give. Let her get some opportunity to get stretched. All right, the batter is out when the third strike is caught. Remember the rule, to make an out, you got to catch the ball before it touches the ground. Third strike's not caught, but there's a runner on first base, and there are less than 2 outs. Concept behind that rule, same thing behind an infield fly. Before the rule was in effect, the catcher would deliberately drop the ball. The batter's now forced to run. Runner on second's forced to run to second. They throw and get a double play. That's why they put that rule in there. With 2 outs, why would you intentionally drop the third strike and give up the third out? So that's why it's not in effect with 2 outs, but that's why that rule is there. Same concept as the infield fly. 10C, which recruits will be working a lot of till they get their C legs under them, is an exception. There's no drop third strike at 10C, because there are a lot of drop third strikes at 10C. All right, you bunt on the third strike and it goes foul. You don't see this a lot, but every once in a while, coach will be daring. Everybody's back. He's got a good girl who can bunt. He might bunt. There's a possibility of that. Not very often, but you can see it. Teams playing short, if there's a vacancy in the lineup, they must start with 8 or more, and they must have 8 to finish the game. But if they're roster batting and they have 15 players listed on that roster lineup, and 7 of them are going to the prom that night, so they have to leave after the first game or in the first inning to get beautified, you could technically go 2 innings without them ever coming to bat. Because you could take 3 outs and then 3 outs. So,
And to be clear, anybody that's in a lineup
right,
that cannot be replaced by a substitution
right.
is an out, regardless of why they come out.
Exactly, yes. If, and it's in chapter 8, base running, if she was injured, if you have just 9 players, or it doesn't matter, if she was injured and while running the bases, you can use a courtesy runner for her, which is the last completed at bat. Once that half inning ends, you have to take an out for that position, even though she came out because of an injury.
And she can't, if she comes out because of an injury, she can't go back. If you courtesy run for her, she cannot go
Right.
back.
The concept is if a kid's hurt, you don't want the coach pushing him to go back and play. All right. If she comes out because of the blood rule, she can go back in the game as long as they can get her clean and the uniform clean. And that may mean that she changes from her white to her blue top, but that's okay. But yeah, the blood rule, she can go back in as long as they can clean it. Injury, they don't want the coach pushing a kid to go back and play when she's injured. And so once she comes out because of an injury, she can't go back in the game.
I had a team last year and the girl got hurt. They only had 9.
Right.
And they just kept sending her to the plate. And they're like, just stand there.
As long as she doesn't substitute.
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, struck out.
Right, as long as she doesn't substitute. As long as she doesn't substitute, yeah, she's... Dave, go ahead.
Follow up, and I'll cover that in a few minutes. Some people are confused. If she leaves defensively, they can play short. And so long as she's batting, and that's not, if she leaves the field, leaves that game, both offensively and defensively, she has left the game.
She has to do both.
Either one.
Either one.
Either one.
Right.
If she's left the game offensively or defensively, she's gone.
Amanda.
Can I add the situation to that? Let's say they have 9, there's a bathroom nearby, and the girl is running out there to use the restroom and is like late to her defensive
Position.
Is that, are you enforcing that rule or that to that extent?
She's not been pulled because of an injury.
I think at some point, I mean, yes, we're gonna be nice for a few seconds.
Yeah.
But at some point, we're gonna have to start calling penalty balls
Right.
because they can't, they're taking time up. So we
Well-
have,
They have 1 minute to be ready to
Right.
play the inning. If they're not ready in that minute, then they have 20 seconds for the pitcher to deliver the
Right.
pitch.
which
they're not-
gonna
when
do
the-
since
with-
they can't
right.
play.
You wouldn't allow
Right.
the inning to start.
Right.
Okay.
And then after a minute 20, you got a ball. After a minute 40, you got a ball. After
Actually, I think you would want the inning to start. It's just you would have to and then you wouldn't want to do that at a minute 10 or a minute
Well,
whatever.
I mean,
Be
but
like-
if you started the inning,
Yeah, we like, Coach, I've waited, we're gonna have to start.
Right.
And we're gonna have to, after 20 seconds, give the batter a ball, and hopefully that she'll run over the hill quickly.
Go ahead, Rick. Dave, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be a little cautious because this is being recorded, and we are dealing with females. I had one young lady that had an unfortunate situation. I'll let you read between the lines there, and we waited until she took care of the issue.
That's discretion. That's discretion. Yep. Good job, Dave. She doesn't vacate home plate once she puts the ball in play. You can never return safely to home plate. You can never stand on home plate safely. Once you put that ball in play, you must run to first base. You are forced to run. If she doesn't run, give her a couple seconds, then pronounce her out. She's occupying a vase she's not permitted to occupy.
I don't understand what you're saying there, Joe. Are you saying that are you saying that?
These are your slides.
No, you've added and subtracted. I think you and I have this thing.
We had discussion last
every
year. Yeah.
Like, why is that there? If someone hits the ball and stands there, she's not doing anything illegal.
But she's forced to run. She's not allowed to
she's
occupy
not
home plate
forced-
anymore.
She's actually not forced to run by rule. But the point is, if she's standing there, unless she's interfering with the catcher or getting the ball, she can stand there. They're going to throw her out very, very soon up at first base. But there's nothing illegal about her.
She's forced to run.
She's not forced
Okay.
to run.
Let's table this. We'll look at the rule and come back. All right. We're going to come back to that.
I think this has to be like the third year you and I.
Yeah, we've had this discussion. Yeah. All right. She interferes with the catcher. How does she interfere with the catcher? This is the classic. She's there. She takes a pitch. Ball, strike, whatever. She turns to get the signal from her coach just as the catcher comes up to make a play at third base because the girl's stealing. All right. You do not have to throw the ball. She does not have to throw the ball. In fact, 3 years ago, high school and U-Trip and USA changed their interpretation of this rule because coaches were teaching their catchers what was called the ear hole play. They would come up and fire the ball into the girl's helmet to get an interference call. So now if that catcher comes up, she goes to throw and she stops, I can't read her mind. I don't know if she stopped because she didn't think she had to play at third or she stopped because the batter stepped in her way. If you have that, it's a dead ball. I got interference on the batter. She is out. All right? The catcher does not have to make the throw. In fact, they don't want them to force to make the throw because they were hitting girls in the head just to make the point that she was interfering with them. It was called the ear hole play. Batter's out if she enters the box with an illegal bat or she completes her at bat with an illegal bat. And it's caught before the next pitch, whether legal or illegal.
I'm sorry, can we circle back?
No.
I realize we've done that.
Okay.
The interference with the catcher.
Yeah.
Is there a thing, and I've heard coaches say this, if they stay in the box, they're okay?
Okay. Let me, yes, that's it. My view is the only thing she's allowed to do in the box is stand still. All right? She can stand still. If the ball goes under her legs, the catcher's got to work around her. Now, the reason I say it, my friend here, Rick, will say the box has got nothing to do with it, and he's right. The reason I say it that way is coaches will come to you and say, oh, she was in the box, she can move, the box is her territory. No, the only right she has in the box is to stand still. If she starts to move in the box, we're even step back while the ball's rolling between her legs going back, she's created a potential for interference.
They're safe in the box.
That doesn't exist. The only thing that's safe is if that's 1 of 3 times you can stand still and not be called out. All right?
She cannot actively interfere with the
Right.
actively interfere.
Active.
I have not heard that, that's why I'm asking. I had a number of coaches say, oh, she's in the box, and they tell their players, stay in the box, you're fine.
If she's standing still,
No, they say standing.
right, that's why I say it the way I say it.
Do not know the rules.
That's why.
I have no clue what the rules are.
That's why I say it the way I say it. The only thing she's allowed to do in the box is stand still. Otherwise, if she starts to move, she has creating the potential to actively interfere. Right. Right. The box has got nothing really to do with it, but because coaches will say she's in the box, she can move. It's her. No, the only thing she can do in the box is stand still. Amanda.
To question the way that you're saying is with the way that you said about actively interfering. The example that you gave with the ball slice slowly rolling
Right.
between her legs, and she chooses to try to not interfere, backing up as the ball do that. Do you call that actively
No,
interfering, or
that's-
do you call that?
She's trying to get out of the way.
Even
That's
if-
not actively-
But if she's walking back and the ball's rolling back and the catcher's chasing the ball,
Well, that's
and
actively-
then she's actively interfering. Okay.
You know she's trying to do the right
Right.
thing.
Again, the best thing for her to do in that situation is stand still. All right?
I have a question. I saw it on a video the other day. I've never seen it. The batter swings.
Right.
Her follow through, the bat's behind her.
Right.
The catcher throws the third and hits the bat.
I got nothing.
Got nothing?
I got nothing. Yeah, because she swung through.
Yeah.
She's not moving the bat to do anything. The catcher I got nothing. I got
I
nothing.
just saw that video, I said, it might never come up in my
Right.
lifetime, but
It will.
Rick?
now that I've been.
Just a couple things. Next week, we're going to talk about interference and obstruction. So we're going to talk more about interference and catcher's interference, and that has been a push over the last couple of years. I differ with my colleague, my friend from Pennsylvania.
My distinguished colleague from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Exactly right. I'm different in a couple ways. First of all, the word actively doesn't exist for what it's worth. If you look in the rule book, it's not there. X number of years ago, it was in ASA, I believe, but it's no longer there for what it's worth. I differ in the idea that a girl must stand still, because we'll hear that. Oh, she has to stand still. No, she doesn't have to stand still. There's no rule that says she must stand still. There's no rule that says she must stay motionless. That doesn't exist. The rule of thumb, and we'll talk more about it next week, is that if I'm a batter, I can do this, which I would normally do, like for the pitch approaching. I don't have to stand motionless. It's not right to say a batter can't physically move. What she can do is move herself back up to a normal standing position. After that, anything beyond that, whether she actively means to, wishes she wouldn't have done it, any other motion then could potentially have her being involved in interference. And the one other thing I have a slight difference is this. Joe's right, catcher doesn't have to throw, but just because she doesn't throw doesn't mean that the batter is guilty of interference.
Right.
Because that could be easy. God forbid, not the 12-year-old young woman would ever say something that wasn't true, but I can't throw because, well, I see a nice little lane here that you're just choosing not to throw. So we have to use our judgment's the point, and we're going to talk more about that next week.
I think he's in violent agreement with me. I don't think anything I said is. In fact, when I stood like this.
Well, yeah. But it's just, we will hear that. Though.
Right.
No, she has to stay motionless. No,
No,
she doesn't have to stay motionless.
she can return to a stand.
Yes.
I said standing. I said
Okay.
standing in the box, and I was standing straight up. So I think we're in violent agreement. Okay. Batter in the box. She enters with an illegal batter. She completes her time at bat with an illegal bat. Josh.
Sorry, I know we're going slow.
Okay.
So if she enters the batter's box with an illegal bat and there's no pitch thrown,
Right. She's out.
she is out.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's changed.
But if she hits the ball and she hits a grand slam, the defense has got to identify the illegal bat before the next pitch.
Before the next pitch.
Yeah.
So, I don't mean to be splitting
Right.
hairs, but if you enter the box, does that entail that the pitcher has to be ready?
No.
All right, so if she's a right-handed hitter, she's coming from the first base side, she walks into the left-handed hitter's box.
She has 10 seconds.
Now,
Yeah, she has 10 seconds to be ready to take the pitch, and the pitcher has 20 seconds from when she received the pitch. So
You mean the second they get there?
Right, again,
The-
that's what
he-
it-
when
the
she's
second she gets to the plate area.
If your eyes are that good, then you can tell in that time that that's an illegal bat.
I think it's the box that she would normally be.
Right.
standing.
For the illegal bat,
what?
are you looking at for the illegal
No.
bat?
No.
or-
No.
Okay.
The other team has to bring it up.
You can if you want to. I support you if you wish to. I know I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying I ignore it, but if it comes up and I know she's swinging it right in my face and I see that is not the right guy, yes, I would step in. But
And there are some where you're like, that's
Yeah.
definitely illegal.
yeah,
That's a
Well, there are
slippery-
some bats that we've seen.
Okay, we're going to probably be running out of time, so we're going to have to move. So if you have a stolen base or a base gained on a wild pitch or a pass ball, that can remain. All right? The penalty is if it's an altered or unapproved bat, she is ejected and the coach is ejected. Any other reason, they get a warning, and then the player is restricted to the bench and the coach is ejected. So these are our two, here we go. These are our two legal bats. These are illegal. This is baseball and this is slow pitch. Difference between a slow pitch and a fast pitch bat. Fast pitch bat is evenly weighed, so the girl's body is giving her the power. The slow pitch bat, the barrel's got the weight on it, and that's where they're getting the power from. That's why they don't want a slow pitch bat in the game, because that little 100-pound girl's only got so much she's going to give, but then you add weight on the end of that bat as a slow pitch bat, she's going to give you a lot more power. Okay, bat hits the ball, you're not out, ball hits the bat. In fair territory, it's considered unintentional, and the bat is considered dirt. It's equipment that's in the game. The ball hits the bat. Okay? Ball is fair unless it rolls or is touch foul. So even though the ball hit the bat in fair territory, if it rolls into foul territory and rests there or is touched there, it still is a foul ball. The batter's out if the bat hits the ball in fair territory. It's considered intentional, the ball's dead and the batter's out, and if my memory is correct, when Mr. Morris did this last time, he said if they're both rolling simultaneously together, the expectation is the bat hit the ball.
Correct. If they're both moving, one is to say that the bat hit the ball. Even if the bat didn't really hit the ball, they're both moving, so that's the way it's interpreted.
Can you just give me an example of each, so I understand the rule completely?
What do you mean, Josh?
So
the girl bunts, she throws the bat down,
It has backspin
and the bat's laying there still, and the ball has backspin, and it rolls in the bat. You got nothing. That's dirt.
it's a live ball.
Right, it's a live ball. And if the bat is tilted towards the foul line and the ball rolls down the bat and into foul territory, we got a foul ball. If it rests there, comes a. If the ball's out there and she throws the bat down and the bat hits the ball a second time and spins it out a little further towards the pitcher, you have a dead ball because you now created interference because the catcher can't get to the ball. You now move the ball beyond where the catcher was going to field it. You now have a dead ball,
Okay.
and that's an out.
So
And
if the ball is moving and hits the bat, we're good.
Right.
If the bat is moving and hits the ball, we got a dead ball.
Right.
Batter's out.
And if they're both moving, it's a dead ball because you take that the bat hit it, all right? Foul ball, if the bat hits the ball in foul territory, unless it has a chance to become fair, and that's your judgment. The ball hits the bat in the batter's hands. There you see that there. So she has both feet in the box, or 1 foot partially on the line, and she bunts, and then she hits the ball again with the bat. It's a foul ball. Okay? If it's in there, the ball's dead, there's no out, she's still in the batter's box, if she's in the batter's box. Okay, the running lane, that's the running lane. Dave.
One situation, you said ball in fair territory. I had a situation where it was a drop third strike,
Right.
fly ball, carambuled the catcher's shin guards into slightly foul territory.
Right.
And as the catcher was trying to retrieve the ball, the batter threw the bat down, and the ball ricocheted away from the catcher. It was in foul territory, but I called it out for interference.
It was dropped
Yeah,
third.
because there was a play being made.
Because it
though.
was the bat.
Live.
So it was uncaught third strike, so there was a play being made. So yeah, I have interference. I don't have the, yeah.
Even though that ball
Right.
was in foul, take out.
It pushed the ball away from where the catcher could have fielded it, yeah.
A live ball.
Exactly. All right, that's the running lane. The running lane, batter's responsibility is if there's a fielding or play being made at first base, they must be in the running lane. The running lane's halfway down between home and first base. U-Trip in Federation High School has said if the foot last touches outside of the lane and is in the air while the other foot touches in the lane, it is still considered to be out of the lane. All right? Little different than what we did with our batting. So she's running down. This left foot is out of the running lane. This foot is now in the running lane, and this foot is in the air. Well, guess what? She's still considered outside the running lane. Both feet must be consecutively inside. If you're touching the foul line, again, you're considered in the area anytime you touch the line. So there's this young lady. You see her left foot is in the air, but it's well outside the running lane because look at where that right foot is. It's just barely going to touch the running lane. So when that right foot plants and touches that line, she's still going to be considered out of the running lane because that left foot was out of the running lane whenever she first touched it. Okay, the violation requires all three. The runner has to be outside the running lane. You must have a throw. The throw must be made. And the batter runner has to interfere and hinder the defense. I got all three of them there. She's well outside the running lane. She's interfering with the first baseman, all right? Not a violation if the throw's not made. If the catcher comes up on the bunt and jukes, doesn't throw because the runner's outside the running lane, you have nothing. She must make that throw. She must make that throw. If the throw goes over the first baseman's head, you have nothing. Because you can't make a play with the ball over her head. It has to be hindering making a play or fielding an initial hit. If it's thrown over her head, you got nothing. If the throw hits the runner in the running lane, she cannot interfere if she's in the running lane. So those are the times when the violation doesn't take effect. That young lady's in the lane, clearly in the lane. I don't know. I think she's going to be out with that left foot. But I don't have a running lane violation
She's not hindering the play.
because she doesn't hinder the play. The first baseman caught the ball. So I don't have a running lane violation.
I have a, so
Yeah.
let's say she's in the lane
Uh-huh.
and the ball is thrown up the line,
Uh-huh.
like toward, you know.
So the first baseman has to swing in to get it.
First baseman has the ability to, this is gonna be probably explained next week. but
Right.
I'm not here, so I'm just gonna ask it. The first baseman has to go get it. She has the right to make a play as well. You're saying she doesn't have a right to make a play.
Until she physically has possession of the ball, she cannot hinder the runner.
Right.
So, which is different over the last X number of years. NCAA has made different changes about going for a ball that doesn't exist in our world, or high school either.
Okay, so she has to have the ball before she can.
Right, so if the
Right.
first baseman steps in front, once again, she still has to be hindered. I mean, if she's not hindered, if she's running as fast and that never stops her, okay, then nothing's happening. But if you get a sense that the batter runner is juking, stopping, because the first baseman is coming across her chosen path, then you have obstruction is what we have
Yeah, you have more.
in our world.
If she's in the running lane, she can't interfere. But if the first baseman's reaching and doesn't have the ball, she's especially if she hinders in some way. If you go to the Federation site this year, the emphasis on obstruction is she's got to have slowed down, moved differently, done something, stopped. And if you got that, then you've got obstruction. So if she's reaching out, she doesn't have the ball, and the girl's in the running lane and she slows down because she doesn't want to collide, you've got an obstruction.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Sorry, this just popped in my head. So this actually happened. There was like a ground ball to the first baseman.
Uh-huh.
And a runner was running,
Uh-huh.
first baseman was running,
Right.
and they were both trying to get to the bag.
Uh-huh.
And it was like a huge collision.
Okay.
What do you have?
Well, it depends. Was she stepping on the white bag or the orange bag?
They were both going to the proper bag,
Okay.
right? I had an out.
All right.
Because the out was, in my mind.
Was she in the running lane or out of the running lane?
Right?
Was she in the running lane or out of the running lane?
She was in the running lane. I didn't
So
have
is
anything
she-
illegal on the runner. The runner didn't slow down. The first baseman didn't slow down. They just collided full speed. I just had an out.
I got nothing because she can't interfere if she's in the running lane.
And then we can't have obstruction because she got to the base
Right.
It
before.
sounds like you have an out and an unfortunate contact.
That's what I had.
When people
Yeah.
say softball's not a contact game, that's not true. You know that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of contact that happens, and sometimes it doesn't mean anything. And
Right.
from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like that really.
They
Yeah.
just ran into
It just was an
Yeah,
unfortunate
it's
situation.
incidental contact.
Yeah, it was a trainer.
Incidental contact.
Okay.
Incidental contact. And then finally, it looks like that young lady's well in the running lane. Hasn't started yet. Halfway down to base, hasn't started. The running lane hasn't started yet, so she doesn't have to be out. Now, is she interfering with the catcher's ability to make a throw? That's a different judgment. But she's not in the running lane, that's for sure. She doesn't have to be in the running lane yet.